Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing. Where do you come from? Where you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing.
PlayStation. Like, I still have not seen what happens when you turn on your PlayStation, because it turns on my monitor, and by the time it turns on my monitor, it's already on the login screen. What's going on? This is Super PlayStation Bros. How's it going? We're coming at you live. We're talking everything PlayStation. I'm joined, as always, by Dorgon. How are you doing then this morning? We're back on regular UK time, so that is awesome.
We are, yeah. Daylight savings hit us over the course of the weekend, so we're now an hour into the future. So it's 3 p.m. that we're starting, as it should be, as is quite right. And yeah, it's been hard getting used to it. Like, really rough night's sleep last night. I always feel jet lagged when we go forward with daylight savings. It's horrible. I don't know why we do it. Can't we all just stay on one time and just get up with the light sort of thing? But here we are. We're back on normal time, and we're talking PlayStation. You got used to it a month ago, didn't you?
Yeah, it was an adjustment for myself. I feel, honestly, like a week or two ago, I just started waking up at the right time again. It does take a bit, so sorry about that. But we got SPG, what's going on? We got Rain, and we got the Wibble Sniff. Thanks for coming on by. We're getting into PlayStation this week, and what other awesome news to talk about. But wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. What have you been gaming on? Oh my gosh, this is gonna get me rated R on the podcast. Sorry. What have you been gaming on?
Short got rated R was you just showed that section. You didn't show anything else around it. If you showed anything else around it, you'd have been absolutely fine. But yeah,
okay.
Stellar Blade has been one of the things I've been playing on. That was a great experience. It's a very short demo. I was sort of expecting more Final Fantasy 16 in terms of length. You get like a 2-hour session, really get to know the characters a little bit, get some of the story properly delivered to you, really get your teeth into it before you then like jump into combat and want to jump into the full game. This was more of a demo of old. I felt it was only about an hour in length. It stopped before I could get my teeth into the story, stopped before I could properly get my teeth into the combat. It does make me want more of it, which is an absolutely fantastic thing, but I'm still a little bit unsure about the story of it. I don't know whether that narrative can carry me through, so I don't know whether this is a day one. I might need to play it again. I really need to jump into that boss battle that you unlock after you've completed the demo and give that one a go, see how I can cope with a few more abilities under my sleeves and what have you. But outside of the Stellar Blade demo, I have been playing a bit more Gran Turismo 7 because, you know, when you've got that VR headset and such a wonderfully beautiful game, you get in there and you play as much as you can at that 4K 120 frames per second. I've been playing some more Hi-Fi Rush. I've been back on Destiny 2 playing with the mighty Wibblesniff, who is in chat, and having an excellent time, which kind of surprised me there, which I'm very glad about. And there have been a couple of other little games in there. I've picked things up, done a little bit here, a little bit there. But those have been the main three on rotation. Now, I would pass this over to you and ask you what you've been playing, but judging by what you have said on all social media, on everybody else's chats, I expect that your answer this week will be the same as the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that would be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has definitely taken the cake. It is such a long game, so much content. Every time you inch a little bit further in the story and unlock a new level, it drags you back to old levels and unlocks new side quests. Then you go to that side quest, and then inside that side quest, it's like, oh yeah, do all 6 of these things. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how is this possible? How is there so many characters with so many backstories and so much content? This game is 2 to 3 times longer than the original remake. It's ludicrous, but at the same time, I feel like they built a forever game. You can honestly just keep playing this all year long, because it'll give you that exciting battle stuff. I mean, I just found a section of the game where there's a whole bunch of Queen's Blood challenges. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't done any of that. So anyone who plats this game, my hat's off to you. Like, there is so much content in here, so many trophies to be earned. The production level is so high. The fighting mechanics I'm absolutely in love with. The challenge, oh my gosh. If you want difficulty, this may be one of the most difficult games I've come across. I have not switched a difficulty down in a long time, but Final Fantasy VII made me go, well, you win. You win, and I will switch down in difficulties, because I am not...
Probably name 6 that you change the difficulty on, but...
All right. I do enjoy it, though. I'm getting through it. I just look forward to jumping on to some other games after this one. Rise of the Ronin is out there. This Stellar Blade is obviously around the corner. I played the demo. I think the demo is excellent. It brings everything to the table that I like in terms of combat. I felt like the mobility of the character was something I really liked. It has that speed of Sekiro, and when you dash or when you do a perfect dodge, you have that Final Fantasy 16 dodge mechanic as well, where it freezes time for you, and then you can load up a counter. The visceral attacks are there, the stamina, the special attacks bring something new to the table. Give you a lot of viability, different change-ups. I think there is a lot here that works perfectly for me. It is Souls combat, so you have to be prepared for that. Every enemy out there can kill you. You got to play them properly. I look forward to checking this game out in full. I don't want any spoilers to happen, and I know the most epic part of this game happens like right now, so I'm gonna pause it. But exactly for that reason why I paused it and moved forward is what all games need. This game pulled me in within the first 10 minutes because it was jaw-dropping and the story was good. I know you said it was weak in the elements, but that part that happens with that girl had my jaw dropped, and I was pulled in. I needed to find out more, do more, and I really think it was a great demo, a great showcase of the game, so I look forward to more.
Yeah, there's definite potential, and I think that was the big thing I came away with. Like, potential was the word that stuck with me for Stellar Blade. I am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great game. It's got that hack and slash nature that I really like. It's got that difficulty nature that I really like, because I'm the guy who did clear God of War and God of War Ragnarok on Give Me God of War mode. I am that nut job.
GG's.
So... it's got a level of challenge that I think I would really appreciate. It was a good thing to get last week. We did announce that it was coming out a couple of days after last week's podcast, so hey, we've all been in and played it. If anybody in chat has played it, let us know what you thought as well, and we'll come back and have a read of what you said after this next article. What's first on the list, my friend?
What is first on the list? Well, we got Sony beta testing some intriguing new features for its PS app. So this was interesting. I looked through this. So right now, if you want to check this out, I believe it's only available for The Last of Us, Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2, yeah.
This is my thoughts when I was reading this, where it's an update on an app giving you more background information on your games that you're playing. So what I want to see is the call back to instruction manuals you got with your games when you were a kid. I want with every game a freaking little app thing, and it's like, okay, this is the players, this is the attack. Like, give me the tutorial and stuff in there. Give me some lore on the characters, exactly what this is doing. We're almost there. I'm almost back to getting my little booklet with my games, and I think this is the first step to doing it.
I don't think it's so much a little booklet with your games. It's not the instruction manual that you read in the back of the car while traveling home, whilst mom and dad were driving and what have you. I do miss those days. I do want those days back, especially for like these older games that are getting remastered. Something I've noticed with the Tomb Raider 1 to 3 remastered collection. It tells you nothing. It just says, oh, press the action button, which is what exactly? It's like 30 years since I last played this game. Give me a little hand here. Tell me in-game what that button is, because you haven't given me a piece of paper with a digital-only release to say what the action button is. So I would like to see some form of return to those, just to future-proof some of these games. It does make life a little bit easier. But this is more what I miss from Destiny 1. The reason I got so deep into the Destiny world was they gave you these grimoire cards in the original game, and you couldn't read them in-game, you couldn't view them anywhere, you had to have the companion app on your phone, and you could read them whenever you weren't playing. So what I did was go through and read all of these new grimoire cards that I opened with every new expansion, every new thing that I found. I read them during my lunch break at work, and I think that was great. It gave me something to do within that game world whilst I was outside that game world. And what PlayStation are doing with The Last of Us Part 2, and sounds like it will be rolling out to a few other games over time, probably most likely PlayStation Studios exclusives, is the similar sort of thing. They give you the lore, they give you the in-game collectibles, the things that you sort of just skip over the rest of the time. You can have a look at them, read about them, and find out what that means outside of the game when you've got nothing better to do, like on the train, in the doctor's surgery, whilst waiting for your appointment or whatever the case may be. And I think that's a great thing to expand these things a little bit further, to make people read stuff as well. There's so many people just not reading anything, and if it's linked to something that you're playing, I feel like a lot more people will get on the reading bandwagon, which is always a good thing. I hope it expands. It's interesting what we've got with The Last of Us Part 2, with the lore that they're doing in the collectibles. I hope it's a bit more linked in. I do like that the game help is just there on your phone as well, though. So the stuff that you normally get through the PlayStation button menu in-game is also now available on the app for these supported titles, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because you can have it as a second screen ready and raring to go, and just play and have something here to give you a guide if needs be.
Hey, Nerds World, what's going on? Thanks for coming on by. I absolutely agree, Dorgon. But I do want that shout out to my booklet. Jumping into the next story, one of my favorite April Fool's jokes that got me for a hot second, and I know it shouldn't have. Boom, right there, Bloodborne 2. Why did I think that was a thing? I'm like, no way. Going looking it up. I'm like, April 1st. Are you kidding me? And then Bloodborne 2 is not coming out.
It's not a day to believe any news articles. April 1st is a terrible day. I hate that companies do this. It's about time that we stopped doing this. Because you sent me another one about Skull and Bones, how
yes,
it got delayed after being launched. And I'm reading through this article because it's the sort of thing that, with how bad Skull and Bones has been handled, would actually happen, that they've launched the game and then they'll delay it. Like, that sounds like something Ubisoft would do at the moment. That was very well done to catch people out. It was only when I was reading it and it said it started development in 481 BC that I realized it was an April Fool's joke. But
Yeah.
April 1st, hateful day for news articles, hateful for people who are a little bit trusting, who see something, get excited about it. Switch did one with IGN about the Virtual Boy coming back, where you basically just put the Switch in like a cardboard mask and it's a VR AR headset type thing. But yeah, it's I hate April 1st.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm never looking up news articles that morning ever again. Yeah. Well, we got some games announced for the month of April about 15 minutes after our podcast. So that was fantastic.
Always the way.
The games. Yeah. The games that we had going on. Immortals of Avium is the big one.
Avium or Avium? Which
I
way
think
round
it's
are we meant to
Avium.
say it? Okay, I'll go with your enunciation here, and if either of us play it, we'll find out for definite. So I'm going with Avium for now.
Yeah. Immortals of Avium. We have Minecraft Legends, which was an Xbox console exclusive last year. And it plays like a Diablo, but more Minecrafty, more childlike. But if you have the PS Plus, this is a cool addition if you want to jump into it, especially if you have some kids. Then we have Skull Hero Slayer. Not much is known by this for me, although it is available on the PS4. But yeah, have you heard of Skull the Hero Slayer? I don't know too much on this title.
No, it's not one that's come across my sort of perspective previously. It does seem like a really solid month, though. Immortals of Avium came out in September, came out around the same sort of time that Starfield did on Xbox. So it sort of got overlooked a little bit because everybody wanted to play that and see whether it was good or bad, whichever side of the fence you came down on. I think it's going to be a good sort of second wind for this game. It seems to have something to it that I think I will appreciate, but at the same time, it has that, oh, it was this, but it's a bit of this, a bit of that. Like, people were trying to compare it to a bunch of other games, and that never inspires confidence within me, when instead of them just coming out and saying, oh my god, this is epic, it does this, this, and this. But the fact that it's on Plus less than a year later, and this is a AAA game, I'm very impressed and a little bit shocked with that one. Minecraft Legends, like you say, bit of a dungeon crawler, bit of a Diablo type thing in the Minecraft universe. That one's going to be good. And because I have no idea about the Skull blah 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 game, forgot the name already, I'm really looking forward to diving into that and just finding out what it is.
So it's an indie action platformer with roguelike elements. These are the type of games that kind of push the boundary. If you're looking for new game mechanics, this is where game developers are allowed to experiment. So typically you'll find new and novel things jumping into these indie action games. So I would 100% recommend giving that a try. A further follow-up on Immortals of Avium. Avioli. It's getting an update. As soon as it hits PS5, we're getting FSR 3. Ooh, sounds like blast processing to me. We're getting HDR support. And HDR support is really cool. And they say any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And I like that quote. It's like bringing a lighter back in time. They think you're a wizard, right?
It's very cool. Yeah, it's a great quote. Like, magic is just science we haven't discovered yet. Any super advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. These are great quotes because they tell you how great the world is. FSR 3 is AMD's version of frame generation. It's the same as NVIDIA's DLSS 3, or DLSS. I don't know what letters they throw in everywhere. So it's adding frames in when you wouldn't get frames otherwise, so it should make things like performance mode that bit smoother, or even the quality mode that bit smoother as well. You might get more frames interpolated there. It's good to see this. I'm surprised HDR wasn't there previously. I'm the guy who thinks that HDR is far more important than something like ray tracing. That contrast, those color pops, they make much more of a difference to me than, oh, look at the sun ray and the dust particles floating in it. So I was kind of surprised to hear that that wasn't there at launch, but it's good that they're adding it, and especially the moment that it hits PlayStation Plus as well.
Oh, I don't have HDR. Maybe one day.
Sorry, I forgot.
So this is a warning to everybody. Today in games, if you play something over and over again, like a G-Bike tournament, and it tells you to get the highest score possible, and you do it 3 times over, maybe you should look up and see if it's bugged before you try to do it a 4th time. Because in this case, it was bugged for the digital-only users, and we're unable to unlock the Platinum Trophy. I can't finish that quest, and I am never playing G-Bike again, because I played it so many times yesterday. I got such a high score, and yeah, I'm a little upset about this. So yeah, there was an update recently, and it bugged a part of the game, which doesn't allow me to finish out a quest. Instead, it had me racing over and over again on the G-Bike arcade simulator. And I can't believe I was at that exact spot. And I'm like, why is this not working? Until I looked it up late last night. Sad.
Do you not have the disc?
No, because
it for you.
I'm free of my. I don't have room for discs. All right, it'll just create clutter. I'll probably scratch the discs. I don't want to put them in and out of it. It's such a hassle. All right, I am a discless side of this gaming world, but I get it. If I had the disc, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Exactly, yeah. It's why I think we make a good pairing, because you're one side, I'm the other side. I try and buy the physical version if there's one available. Certain games, like, say, that Tomb Raider Remastered Trilogy, they don't have a physical release yet. Hi-Fi Rush doesn't have a physical release yet. Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't have a physical release yet. So there's certain games that's not possible with. But for the most part, I do try to buy the physical release because it gives me options. So in a scenario such as this, the way to resolve that bug was to roll back to a previous update. So you'd uninstall the game and then reinstall it. But you could only do that with a physical version of the game. So you'd disconnect it from the internet, put the disc in, install it as a base install direct from the disc, and you could go and get that trophy pop, get that high score, and away you go. So there's pros and cons to both sides. For me as well, especially here in the UK, the physical is often a lot cheaper than the digital, and it means I can come back to these games, you know, when they turn the servers off, when they no longer want you to be able to download them and what have you. So there's pros and cons, but it's definitely a tick in the physical is better column this time, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll keep a tally of that through the course of the year. I think at the moment, with the way 2024 is going, physical's ahead.
Yeah, I'll just have to bite that one and take it on the cheek. It's unfortunate, and I can't believe it was the quest that I was on. Like, literally, if I was doing it, I don't know when this... It's just so frustrating, because the game's long enough, and to make me do this G-Bike thing over and over again, crazy. But yeah, look it up before you get too involved in a mission. Let's move on though, because I've been on G-Bike long enough yesterday and today. By the way, I think I got 34k 500. So anybody beat that on a G-Bike, I'd like to see it. Coming up
You're
next,
just inviting humiliation there. Someone is going to come in with like an 80k score or something. You just know.
Oh
that.
no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I mastered the G-Bike. You know, my one complaint playing Final Fantasy VII was that there wasn't enough G-Bike. I'm like, where's the G-Bike? Like, I liked it in the first one. I need more of it. After yesterday, I never want to see a goddamn motorcycle again in that game. But that's just how it is.
I hate to tell you how this game ends. You're gonna get more G-Bike.
I'm sure. But I'll tell you who's not going to be riding a G-Bike ever again, and that is former CEO Jim Ryan. That's right. He's had his driver's license revoked, and he's off the board.
Why driver's license revoked?
Because we were talking G-Bikes. Yeah, we were talking G-Bikes.
Fair play. I'm with you now.
And he's driving PlayStation, but no longer will he drive PlayStation. No, he'll be sipping Mai Tais in the Caribbean with his family in retirement, I'm sure. Actually, look at that complexion. He's probably in the Nordic countries.
Mate, he's one of us. He's a Brit. He lives somewhere over this direction, which is one of the reasons...
Jim Ryan's a Brit?
Yeah.
So he's definitely not Kevin...
Definitely not
Ken.
Kevin. Plus, hence the complexion. I mean, look at us. We don't see much sun.
Hey, we got Ray, the gaming cyborg. What's up? Thanks for coming on in.
So, yeah, PlayStation's a ship without a captain at the moment. We do have Hiroki Totoki, whose name you absolutely adore saying, so much so you brought it up on... what was the Xbox podcast you appeared on last week?
International Xbox. Oh, traitor. You know what I did say to them, though? They were bringing up the Xbox handheld, and I said, they all went through their things, and they're all like, it's going to be this, that. I went up there, and I said, here's my opinion. I hope it's a remote play only device. And then I muted my mic.
Oh, that would be savage. Well played, sir. I to you. I take that traitor comment back. So yeah, like Hiroki Totoki is like an interim CEO. He's currently in charge of PlayStation, but we don't know how long he's meant to be in position for. Normally, when you've got the title of interim, it's sort of 3 to 9 months, depending. So that they'll be looking to hire a full-time CEO. Hiroki Totoki might be going for the full-time CEO position. But right now, he's basically just got to keep things going in a straight line. And we don't know what's coming next. We don't know who the new CEO is. We don't know who... Well, anything is what's coming next, what the plan is. We are a ship without a captain now in the PlayStation universe. And it's better than a ship without a rudder. Much easier to steer. But still, we need somebody telling us where to go, what to do. And... right now, that's not happening. I imagine Hiroki Totoki's going to do his best to just at least keep things on track. But yeah, no more Jim Ryan. He's done 30 years at PlayStation. He gave us two of the greatest generations with PS2 and 4, I would say. And he even managed to help turn around the disaster that was the initial launch of the PlayStation 3. So he's got a good record behind him. But that commute got too much across the Atlantic, and he wants to spend time with his family. I don't blame him for that one. So he's retiring, and from one interview I read, I think he wants to go into cheese. Because
all right, well,
video games to cheese.
We'll always remember where you started, Mr. Jim Ryan. And that was doing the commercials.
You can't say this. You just...
They look... How similar do they look, him and Jim Ryan?
They look
nothing
alike. Nothing alike.
They're
if I said
the
this
same
about,
person.
Say, you and another Puerto Rican, like, you don't look anything alike, but if I said that, I would be hung, drawn, and quartered. You can't keep getting away with this.
My computer didn't like it either. Well, let's move on to the next subject. Well, yep, we are frozen. Now, Kevin Butler has got his revenge. Well, I have this article open, so let's check it out. If you're on Discord and you play the finals, there is a new notification you can see on the bottom. Pretty cool. I think this is an excellent marketing idea. Okay, here's the campaign, Dorgon. Let me explain to you, and you can hear the brilliance of this campaign. So, people who play the finals can get a free outfit and gadgets and stuff and skins if they stream in Discord to their friends the finals for 15 minutes. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant way to show off your game to other people.
Does somebody have to be watching, or can you just stream it in Discord, say in like a group chat or something, and people can pop in, pop out, or not watch it and it's just there as, say, another participant? Or do people have to be actively viewing it for you to get the outfit?
I think somebody has to actively be viewing it to at least one friend for 15 minutes. Yep. Yeah, so actively viewing it.
So active viewers, yeah. I feel like that's going to be quite difficult for a lot of people, especially folks on PlayStation. Whilst we have this amazing tool built into the console itself to stream direct to like Twitch and YouTube, we don't have one to stream direct to Discord from the PlayStation itself, and so many users are not going to have the means to plug that PlayStation into a laptop, into a computer, capture that footage, stream it to Discord. It's questionable. It feels a little bit elitist, if you ask me, but I suppose that's what the finals are aiming for. They're meant to be like an elitist FPS type game, so it's on brand? Question mark?
Yeah. Well, what I'm appreciating, I guess, is the marketing prowess. Obviously, they're going for more PC-minded gamers. It's not necessarily a PlayStation-focused news article. If PlayStation was able to stream to Discord, hurry up and add that. But right now, I think it's a great way to market your game to other people, and I just appreciate the ingenuity in the marketing.
Yeah, it's a good marketing scheme. It's good to get more people playing. It's good to get more people sharing it and trying to get people watching them. There's definitely ways around it. As Houston is saying in chat, you can always do it with remote play and just capture your window that way. If, of course, remote play works well for you, it doesn't work well for everybody. So there's ways around it. There's means. It's just, yeah, like I say, it's not something that your average player of the finals is going to be doing. It's someone who knows how to do all this sort of stuff that we're doing here who will be doing it. So it just feels a bit gatekeepy to me.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying in the gatekeeping. It's only for the PC audience. I was even thinking to myself, I can't even use the cloud to stream it in here. I have to download it locally to be able to pick it up on Discord. So it's not something I'll necessarily be achieving. I like the marketing. I think it's a good way to show off to other people your game. So
yeah, fair. Totally fair.
We are going to check out. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Houston Aries. Thanks for coming on by. He has been hell diving with us on Monday night, so cheers to you. I know you're pumped for the new update we'll be getting into shortly. The levels have gone up, and I'm excited for it. Although I didn't get to 50 yet. I see you're already at 59, and my guess is you're already at 65. But go Helldivers. They're knocking it out of the park.
Flying automatons. That's all I'm going to say. Flying automatons.
And I was sneezing. Sorry about that.
That's why I was filling in the gap a little bit.
Don't Nod recognizes company into genre-based branches, so Don't Nod is changing the business structure and without any layoffs, so that's good to hear. This is a non-layoff story, but they are separating into 3 branches, so it sounds like we're probably getting 3 games from the studio. We're going to be an RPG, narrative adventure, and action adventure. I know I myself am looking forward to action adventure, especially with the combat system in Banisher Ghost of New Eden. Pretty cool game if you haven't checked it out already.
I think this is the way to do things. We've seen so many layoffs. We've seen so many, we're reorganizing, we're restructuring, we're redoing this, that, and the other. And all that means is we're cutting costs and getting rid of people because it's the quickest and easiest way to make life cheaper for the corporation. These guys have gone in a different route, and they're actually caring about the people who got them to the position that they're at, the people who actually make the games. So they are now going with a restructuring, and as you say, putting it into genres and the right people in the right places. This feels like a proper restructuring, a real restructuring, not just an excuse to let people go. So I'm glad to see it. I'm very happy that they've done such a thing, and hopefully it's a bit of either a wake-up call or a bit of a shining light to the rest of the industry, alongside the likes of Larian Studios, to say, this is how we do things.
This is how we do it. All right. And Minecraft on PS5 looks imminent after back-end listing is discovered. So they're upgrading it to those next-gen specs. I mean, took you long enough, but I guess that's the time structure they have for a Microsoft game on PS5 to be updated to current gen stats. I'm a little bit disappointed it took so long. But yeah.
What gets me with that one, though, is it's the same for Xbox Series X. This is the next-gen version for both sides of the fence. They have taken so long to get that sorted. And considering these consoles are meant to be essentially PC builds, there's a little bit of tweaking that you have to do for the specific hardware. But once you've got one, it's fairly easy to get the other. I'm surprised it's taken so long. We've already got like 4K ray-traced versions of Minecraft on PC. It can't be more than a 2-year mission to adjust that for console. Why 4 years down the line are we only just getting the next generation version? It feels like, once again, mismanagement on the green side of the fence, as they've done with many other things in recent times. So yeah, it's good to see. Minecraft is great. Minecraft getting a native port for next gen with 4K, with ray tracing, with additional particle effects and such, and 60 frames per second is amazing. Like yourself, though, very surprised it's taken so long, especially considering it's on both sides. It's not just PlayStation it's taken this long for, it's the Xbox side as well. Very surprising.
Yeah, I'd be surprised Microsoft wouldn't launch with next-gen Minecraft. But hey, Lo-Fi, what's going on? PlayStation had its own version of Minecraft. It's Sony's fault. They just now made a deal. Oh, interesting. So I guess we don't really know what happened at the
Xbox version, though.
Yeah, the Xbox version just releasing now. Yeah, Lo-Fi? What gives? Bringing that Xbox love into here. I love you, Lo-Fi. All right, let's get into the next one. Video games are the heart of gaming. Oh, wow. Okay, well, Lo-Fi, you're not going to like this next one then. So, exclusives are important. We know this. And I just want to say this. As a PlayStation gamer, I feel like the beginning half of this year has been extremely good to us as PlayStation gamers. We've gotten Helldivers 2, Last of Us Part 2 remake, which included just a $10 upgrade for a brand new game mode. We've gotten Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the biggest game I've ever seen in my life. Not to mention highest production value, most variety in a game, and action adventure that warms the heart. We've gotten the Stellar Blade demo, which shows off an amazing game coming up in the next couple months, and Rise of Ronin, which is scoring extremely high in Japan. The combat is being praised, and there's a lot of good things to say about that one. And Xbox, I think they had some Pokemon ripoff.
Oh my days! Like, you don't know how to hand it over to me, do you? Let's just lay you.
And now you, Dorgon, what do you think about exclusives? What do you think about exclusives?
This is all stemming from the opinion piece that you've got on screen. It's in a UK publication called Metro, where people can write in, and they have all sorts of things to say. I thought this particular one was a bit interesting because it basically blasts both sides of the fence. So it blasts Microsoft and Xbox mostly because they're sort of moving away from the exclusives, but it does also put PlayStation on blast because they're silent and not really doing anything with their first-party studios, which I can understand as well. I honestly mostly agree with the opinion piece that there's a few things that they say and a few ways that they put things that wouldn't be how I would do it, wouldn't be how I would say it, or sort of put my thoughts forward, but I get where they're coming from. The industry has got to where it is. It has got to this amazing point where we are getting games like Rise of the Ronin, where we are getting games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, where we are getting games like The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War Ragnarok, because of the exclusive competition that's out there. Nintendo have been putting banger exclusives out for decades at this point. Sony have been putting banger exclusives out for decades at this point. And for a long while, Xbox were doing that, but they have been mismanaged at every turn, and because they aren't making money, they're now throwing their games elsewhere. And they're hoping that that is going to save their business model and their growth, as they said in that podcast a few weeks back. But I don't think is the right move. They don't need to have less exclusives. They need to have more, and they need to up the quality of them and bring the competition back, because as we've seen, PlayStation, whilst we've had great games, as you rightly say, we've had an incredible start to 2024, only one of those is from a PlayStation Studios internal development studio, and that was a remaster. It wasn't even a full remake of a game. So for me, I want to see Xbox bring in more competition, more games, not sticking them all here on PlayStation. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving playing Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation 5, and it plays better because of the DualSense controller. It increases and enhances that experience. And I imagine it would be the same with any other game that comes across as well. We've got Pentiment, we've got Sea of Thieves coming, we've got... I can't remember what the fourth one was, there goes my brain. But I think it's going to be a bad thing if they keep doing it. There's new rumblings of Halo coming across. There's new rumblings of Grounded. Thank you. There's new rumblings of Starfield coming across. Starfield being less than a year old and the biggest exclusive that the Xbox Series consoles were meant to get. They should stay on Xbox Series. They should stay as exclusive titles, and they should work on these and make them better. Give them that Cyberpunk 2077 treatment. They've done that with Halo Infinite, especially the multiplayer side of things. They should do that with the Halo Infinite single player side of things. And we should have this competition. I fully agree that Xbox pulling out of exclusivity is just a white flag moment of we failed, and why Phil Spencer is still in a position, I don't know. He is an utter failure and has been for 10 years at this point. He hasn't moved the needle since taking over. But yeah, it's not like we can sit here and shout that, oh, PlayStation Studios are doing amazing, they're doing so good, because the last game we had from them was Spider-Man 2 in October 2023, 6 months ago at this point.
Yeah, but they do make deals in the boardroom, and I think those, although don't have the same weight as a PlayStation exclusive from a first party, they still have some weight to them. They're still bringing exclusive to the console. So I think that's still providing good value to us as PlayStation gamers. But it's cool. It's cool. I think more exclusives for us is good. I think if every game could come out with crossplay and for everyone, we wouldn't need different consoles. And of course, that would be a utopian world. But we live in this world, and I want to be a realist about this, so give me the good games.
I think you said dystopian wrong. You said utopian. That's not
utopian, yes. If dystopian, all gamers were treated equally, dystopian. 60 FPS for all.
Try forcing that one on the PC crowd. Yeah, that won't go well. That'll be a utopia, won't it?
All right, well, let's move on. A game that we saw on a certain showcase is coming day one to PlayStation Plus gaming catalog, April 21st, 3rd. So if you were looking forward to Tales of Kenzira, you can check it out on the PS Plus. Cool to see. I don't think we've gotten a day one in a little bit. We were kind of on a trend of getting day ones with our PS Plus catalogs. Kind of took a bit of a break from that. I hope this is reigniting that, and we start to see more day ones like this. So, how do you feel about? I forget the name of this game, but it looks like an indie platformer to me.
I keep calling it ZOW for short, because that's
ZOW.
the tagline of it. Like we say, Warrior Within, The Lost Crown for whichever Prince of Persia game you're talking about. I'm actually really excited for this game. It's been made by Abu Bakr Salim, who actually voiced Bayek in Assassin's Creed Origins. He was the motion capture and voice capture for the lead character there. And he got bit so hard by the video gaming bug that he went and created his own studio. This is the first game that they are coming out with. It's a very heartfelt game, born out of him losing his own father to a battle with a terminal illness. And it's a similar sort of journey, only this time you can actually save said father. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I'm very interested in this game. I was looking at buying it anyway, but the fact it's coming day one is a huge thing for me, and the talent on board is incredible. But it's not the only game that we're getting day one in April on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, because we're also getting Dave the Diver completely included on day one. And it's a bit of a shock because, like you say, we haven't had one for quite a while. Humanity is one that I remember. I think there was one after Humanity that I can't quite remember the name of. But we've had a few day ones over the course of the last year. There was Stray back in 2020.
To Chai, I think was a day one.
But to get two...
Meet Your Maker, I think was a day one.
It was, yes. But yeah, Dave the Diver and... what's the name of the other one? It's gone ZOW, that's it. I'll keep calling it ZOW. Tales of Kenzera, ZOW. They are coming day one, and I think it's going to be great for them, especially as their first time on PlayStation, and Tales being a day one release is just great.
Well, as you led to, Dave the Diver plunges into PS Plus gaming catalog April 16th. So Maker brings up a point. So is this with the new update it's releasing? Is this with the PS Plus debut? It's coming directly onto the catalog? Because I do know this game exists on PC. Steam version, yes. Right?
Yeah, it's been on PC for quite a while. It's been on Nintendo Switch for, I want to say 6, maybe 7 months. It hasn't come to either of the big home consoles. Bearing in mind that Nintendo's home console is the biggest one, 170 odd million sold. It's the first time that Dave the Diver has been on home console, like PlayStation 5 or Xbox, and it's coming day one. So the moment it releases on home console, I believe it's going on Game Pass as well, so everybody can just play it if they're subscribed to those services. And Tales of Kenzera ZOW is exactly the same. Really solid month, really powerful month, and we don't even know what the rest of the extra and premium games are yet. So,
yeah,
impressive.
That's crazy. Everybody who loves your PS Portal, and I know that's everyone here in chat, you're all PS Portal advocates, all of you. There is an update that appears to have quietly improved video quality. That's not a portal. That's not a portal. Where's your portal?
It's a build-at-home portal. It's make your own. It's a DIY kit like Lego.
Well, there was an update that came through. There's an update that came through that quite profoundly improved system software performance and stability. So drastic increase in video quality has been reported. And I think these are the kind of stability upgrades we can continue to see as this device has sold a lot of units, and a lot of people will be calling for more performance stability, better remote play connection. If anything, this will do wonders for remote play as a technology. It'll push that technology faster, smoother, more stable due to this device, I think.
I definitely think you're right on that one. PlayStation has sold an absolute shed load of these, a truckload, a boatload, however you want to quantify it. They've sold loads. This has outsold, I think, the PlayStation 5 itself in some territories. which is incredible. And that means they've got to support it. This is only the second update it has had since launch. So in 5 months of being on the market, it had one update 2 weeks after launch to fix some UI instabilities. And then this is only the second one. It landed for me this morning. I did give it a test. I did give it a try, and video quality does appear to be higher. What it hasn't done is improve the remote play experience at all. So if you were having a poor or terrible experience with your Portal previously, and a lot of that is down to the very cheap chipset that's in it, that's not going to have improved with this update. It takes an age to install. It's only 50 megabytes in size, but it takes about 12 minutes to install that. And then your overall experience doesn't really change, except it looks a bit prettier when it fails. So, you know, it depends what your experience was before this update as to whether it can be classified as any good. For me, my experience has not been good with the Portal. I think it is the worst gaming purchase I've ever made. And this hasn't changed it any. Like I say, it just looks prettier when it's on the screen now, which, if they do continue to update it, if they do keep working on it, and it does improve the remote play experience, it will improve it for every device, like you say. And I think that can only be a good thing. They have the teams in-house to do this. They bought a streaming company based in London last year that is meant to offer high quality on low bit rates. And if they can build that into the likes of remote play, I think we're onto a bit of a winner. But this feels like a long-term evolution before it becomes something that's easily recommendable, and one update to make things look a bit prettier isn't going to change people's experiences. But we should keep an eye on this and see how it goes. It's nice to have it, good update overall, but doesn't really change too much.
All right, well, we'll keep you updated. And yeah, I still think the Portal's a cool bit of kit. Nice technology. But let's get into some democracy. And Helldivers 2 patch makes significant balance changes and adds more planetary hazards. But what it also does is it allows all those people at level 50 to keep going. Keep pushing those ranks up until 150. Wow, they're adding 100 more levels. I'm sure people are going to be grinding all the way to the top already. Please bring some more stability and general fixes. The PS5 and this PC is having some we're having some game drops, we're having people kicked. It's something I don't like to see, but I hope all of these fixes come through and really, you know, stabilize the game. But it's doing extremely well. Love it, and look forward to seeing more and more updates as the game continues to see more content. I believe it's like
snowballs at each other, 5-head.
Yeah.
Don't crash.
It seems to be that every 2 weeks we seem to be getting like new content. 2 weeks ago we got the Quasar and we got the heavy machine gun. Now we're getting new levels as well as environmental changes and updates. So this is a good pace. I almost feel like it's an unsustainable pace of content. I'd like to see maybe just like every month a decent chunk of content. I don't want these people to run dry, but all the power to them. I hope we keep getting more stuff.
I kind of agree that it seems a little unsustainable in pace. We've seen it from other live service titles, like Destiny 2 is probably the longest serving one, where they keep bringing new content and not just give you something and let you sit for 6 months like some of the others. And it is unsustainable. It will burn the developers out, it will destroy overheads and what have you. But I do think all of this that you're getting at the moment is what was planned for initial post-launch. This is how it was meant to flow every couple of weeks, a little bit more, but obviously they had the stability that they had to sort out then. And then it's going to be a case of, once they've got that sorted, start adding new stuff, find out what breaks, fix that, then go back to adding new stuff. So I think it is going to be a bit more spread out than every 2 weeks, just because stuff will keep breaking and there's such a small team trying to fix it all. But it's great to see. This is good post-launch content. It keeps people engaged, keeps people playing, and gives people who are just picking the game up a wealth of content to go at and try out. So really looking forward to it. And don't forget, we've still got 2 enemy factions to come in at some point. You've got the north and the south of that star map that has got nothing in it yet. We are going to have a lot of content coming for this game down the line, and 150 levels is going to seem like child's play in time, but it's nice to have number go up. Monkey see, monkey do.
And this is breaking news. More Helldivers stuff coming at you. Free content. That's right, more free content, as we're saying, unsustainable. So we are celebrating, the CEO has announced that this is celebrating Milson Creek's Memorial Day, and there will be a free cape awarded to Helldivers this week. So be sure to log in, check out the Fallen Heroes Vengeance. It's got the red skull on it. Pretty cool. This will obviously signify the time that the community was so focused on level grinding that they ignored the mission, and we lost Malvern, or Milson Creek as I like to call it. And this is extremely cool. Like, they're already building lore within the game, within the community of thing that's happened in 2 months. Awesome. More content, like I said. Go in and grab the cape. Fallen Heroes Vengeance. And I definitely agree with Maker. If they're going to add levels, I hope there's titles associated with all those levels, like they're doing every 5 levels. But at this point, those levels are simply there for the titles. They don't hold any value. Once you're over 25, you have access to all the stratagems, which I think is a good mechanic.
Just bragging rights, and that's enough for some people.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there is, but it's every 10 now. Thanks, Houston, for letting us know. So the titles work at every 10 levels. That way that makes a bit more sense. So Houston now has achieved, I guess, the next title. So cheers to that. Houston, drop in chat your new title if you can now that you're at level 60. I'm curious to see.
He's a fleet admiral.
Oh, fleet admiral. That's cool.
I'm still just a super citizen. I don't think I've hit level 10 yet. I haven't had.
Oh my gosh. Where's Wibble? Wibble, stream more Helldivers, bro.
It's on the plan. He did an update for streaming today in his Discord, and for the
okay.
The month of April, Helldivers 2 is on.
Okay.
And I do believe he's titled it specifically for you.
Good. Good, because I used to jump into your games all the time in the mornings, and now it's not. I enjoy watching you play in the mornings. I just want to be a part of it, Wibble. Ambitious. Yes, ambitious giant slaying action adventure Eternal Strands announced for PS5. I am bad and I didn't look at this, but did you take a look at this one? I'm playing the trailer right now.
A little bit. You know, for a guy who's read all of Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin, anything that comes with like, oh, giant slaying, is just like, you're not doing it quite as well as they did. So where's my omnidirectional gear? Where's my dual swords or, you know, explosive pikes and such? But this is more sort of medieval type stuff. It does look cool. I like the art style. It means that you're not putting over much pressure on the graphics engine, so you can get more frames out of the game, which is always nice. As long as the gameplay is fun, and it does look like it will be, I think it would be quite a good experience. Just depends on price, really.
Yeah, it kind of gives me Fortnite vibes. There even seems to be Shadow of the Colossus vibes with these big bosses you're scaling. And then, yeah, I think this could be a good use of game mechanics to engineer some good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Giant slaying. What can go wrong?
but it won't be releasing until 2025, so we will be letting you know, updating you on this game as we see more, but it has been announced for PS5. Now let's turn over to Dragon's Dogma, and it sells 2.5 million copies. So this is a large success for Capcom. Excellent to see that their game has done well for them, and a good adaptation from the community. So cool to see. And this game has rated extremely high. After some patches, it seems to be running much better and smoother now. So feel free to pick it up, the single player action adventure game, which in my personal opinion, I do believe this is like Oscar bait, right? This is like a game that will be nominated for Game of the Year. And that's where I feel Dragon Dogma 2 sits. It's Oscar bait.
I feel it can't be voted Game of the Year because of the controversies that have surrounded it that fans have called out. Obviously, the huge problems with the microtransactions, which weren't that micro and were very predatory. The fact that you couldn't restart the game, so if you did something wrong or somebody did something on your save game and you wanted to go back and do it for yourself, you couldn't, and a lot of different things, like you say, the performance, the bugs, the issues there, the fact that it feels archaic, that it feels like the first game from like 10, 12 years ago. There were a lot of problems with this title that simple updates aren't going to do. They would need a rebuild of it. If this got nominated in Game of the Year awards, it would feel like it's been paid to be there. I can't see how, with the launch that it's had and the reception that it's had, even though it sold 2.5 million copies, which is incredible in a week or two, I don't think it should be in that list with the challenges it's had.
Well, we have different opinions on this, but I do feel like this is Oscar bait. It's got the scope, it's got the intrigue, and now it has the sales and the adoption. And I think the things that we may criticize here, we look at games underneath a microscope as our podcast hosts who regularly look at news stories like this. And to the larger audience and even the people judging on the panel, this is not as important to them. They may see the game a bit later on, and these updates will have already been. They may receive a digital deluxe version, so microtransactions aren't really an option for them. They don't see this as a part of the game. So, yeah, we will see. The future will tell us who is right. Me. But we'll see.
How many have you been right on so far? Are we keeping a tally on that one too?
Okay.
As well as physical versus digital?
Armored Core 6 did win Action Game of the Year. So I will hold my cap to that. It didn't win the Game of the Year, even though it was my Game of the Year, but it won Action Game of the Year. All right.
Yeah,
I wasn't right on the sports game of the month, though. that was a big miss. Swing and a miss.
There were a few swings with misses there, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had you been on the field, it would have been middle stump out of the ground, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I just need to play T-ball, and then I'll always hit it. But let's get into the last story of the day, and that is Sony is going to be hosting a big PlayStation event next month. That's right, we could be seeing a showcase debuting games such as what coming from Fair Game, Haven Studios. We could see more on Concord's game. Perhaps they'll be debuting more on Marathon. There is hints about Ghost of Tsushima 2, as well as we know Silent Hill 2 remake is right around the corner for this year. So a lot of things that are up in the air that could really be talked about. The rumor comes from Jeff Grubb on Giant Bomb's podcast, where this is a big possibility that PlayStation will be showcasing this in May, similar to last May. Doragon, do you think that this is a possibility, and what do you expect to see here?
I think Jeff Grubb has got a great track record of predicting these things. He's obviously got contacts within PlayStation who will give him the information at a time that kind of suits them for it to be leaked. I know people are trying to hack in a lot of the time, and Sony's cybersecurity sucks at the moment, as we've seen with all of the hacks they've received recently. But yeah, Jeff Grubb's got a great track record at the moment. The last 6 he's been absolutely bob on the money with. So I do expect we will get a full showcase next month. I do expect we will see first-party games like Fair Games, like Marathon, like Concord. And if he is saying Ghost of Tsushima 2 is going to be there, I'm kind of inclined to believe it. And that, if it hits half as well as the previous game, I will be doing backflips down the street, and I can't do a backflip. So that should tell you how excited for that I am. I would hope to see other first-party games announced. We know that next year for this sort of 30th celebration, they're wanting to go a little bit hard, so I would expect news of them now, at least a couple of them, something from maybe Naughty Dog, something from Bend Studios to be announced as well. And then we see a mass amount of releases next year, but we will have to wait and see. I'm inclined to believe it personally, just from track record, more than anything else.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Of course, you will be able to watch it when it does come out on Cloud&Console. We will be looking to do live coverage as soon as we find out when it is announced. We do like to live react to this, so hang out here for that. But yeah, I look forward to it. And next month, let's see some more PlayStation.
If it's anything like the last few, you might be live reacting on your own. I'll be in bed.
I feel like, when did they do this show? Will they probably do it at 5 again? Probably.
It depends where they go for the 5 o'clock. If they go 5 o'clock UTC, so like the central dateline, that would be fine, because pretty much everybody in the world could then tune into it at some point in their time zone. The problem will be if they go for like the 5 p.m. American or Eastern Pacific. I can't remember which one it is. One of the 5 p.m.s American, because it just puts it wipes out Europe and Asia completely. It's only if you're going back over to like Pacific or Australia, Cook Islands, Tonga and co, that they'll be able to join in. It's wiping out a lot of the world joining in live. So I'm hoping they have seen what live views are like for these last few, and the fact that they are higher when they put it that bit earlier. But at the same time, it's like you're always going to have people going to work, you're always going to have people in bed, you're always going to have people who are only catching up and watching it on the VOD, and some people who just read an article that tells them exactly what was announced after the fact and then go look at the trailers individually. So yeah, I'm hoping for sort of like 5-6 p.m. UTC so that most people are able to watch it, but I'm not expecting it. Just the last few have been at like 11 p.m. British time, and I've worked the next day most of the time, so I'm gonna be in bed because I got to be up at 6.
Well, here's hoping till it's like a nice 1 p.m. Eastern, right in the middle of the day. Make it easy for everybody. But only time will tell, and we'll be sure to cover it when it happens. All right, well, until the next week, play your PlayStation and have fun. Dorgon, what do you got going on your channel? I know you got some videos you've been working on.
I do indeed. I've got one uploaded. It was uploaded just before this podcast went live. It will be going live soon for channel members. They will get it 24 hours before everybody else, and then it'll be going live to the general public and all subscribers and wonderful people that way. In the meantime, if you do want to jump over there, if you do want to become a channel member, I will love you. I might even cry if you do such a thing. If you don't and you just watch it and comment on it, it means the absolute world as well. Thank you everybody for tuning into my content and keeping me growing. It's amazing. Thank you. Now yourself, you've got the family tonight, don't you?
Yes, we got family game night tonight, as well as I'll be over on SPG's channel in a little bit, going on with the Baldur's Gate run, so be sure to check us out over there. We can be found, our contact links in Cyborg City, but if you want to follow us directly, check out the link in the description. It'll go right to Dorgon, it'll go right to Rudigs, And yeah, that is awesome. Well, that's all we have for PlayStation this week. But be sure to tune in next week at the same time. We'll have more PlayStation news coming right at you. Be kind and bring peace into the world, everybody.
Take
See
care,
ya.
guys. Bye.
Grove. 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 Why try to believe in me? Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me who finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as beats.